Hello everyone, how you guys doing? It's Icaro and thank you so much for joining me for my unboxing, walkthrough, and review of the Goliath Tarot deck, the second edition. Now, I never got the first edition. I kept going back and forth between this tarot deck for some reason. It spoke to me from the beginning and I was like, oh, I love that deck, I want it. But then I saw the price and I was like, oh my god, it's a little expensive, but I kept looking at it. And I just had to. Eventually, I just had to. Also, when I saw the second edition, when it came, because also I was looking at other unboxings, other reviews, and the cards were so big. And people were complaining about the book, how the book was so small and the letters were so small. And I was just like, all right, let me take a moment here. And I saw the second edition. I was like, I have to have it. Because, one, I've been wanting this deck forever. But now he made some changes. The box is bigger. So the book is also bigger. So the letters are not so tiny, but also, on contrast, the cards are smaller. They're actually a great size. They're great size cards, but they're not as big as they used to be. On the first edition, now they're a little bit smaller. They're more manageable, and I find them really beautiful. None of the artwork is different. The artwork is the same. It's just smaller deck, more manageable, so I love that. So it opens up just like this. We have a lid. You just slide it open. Here we have the inside. Now this is 100% a shadow deck. He says it himself. Like, even in this first image, you can already tell that it's a shadow deck. And Goliath himself, he's not shy about it. He's like, no, I created a shadow deck. It's the purpose of this deck. So here we have the book. Really, really beautiful. I love this image. This is a strength image. Now, it actually reads like this. It doesn't read like this. It reads horizontally, right? And then we have a black and white. So this whole deck is in black and white. There are no colors in it, which I appreciate, especially for a shadow deck. So we have the artwork. Then we have the keywords. He also puts planet, element, zodiac, and stones. Crystals, amber, milk opal, and selenite for the star. So I like that. Now here, these two columns, and not only these two columns, but we have a whole other page just for the star. And then this paragraph right here is the reversed keywords. So he gives you a whole thing of the star. So he's not playing around. Which actually, I really appreciate this as well. There's a lot of thought into this deck. Now, as you guys know, of course, I am a tarot reader. This channel is dedicated to tarot and oracle cards and artwork and how to read and all of that good stuff. But I will say this, there are a lot of beautiful decks out there, but they repeat. There's a lot of repetition on Rider-Waite-Smith, a lot of repetition on Thoth. There's nothing wrong with that because it's your artwork, it's your vision. There's always a spin to it, which I really appreciate. But I look for decks like, personally, this is just my opinion. It is my personal journey with the tarot. But I look for decks like this. Someone that has spent time. So we have here the Tower. We have, half a page, and then we have a full page after it. And you can see that the font here is still pretty small. It's easy to read, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty legible, but it's still pretty small. Look, we have the devil, and this actually gets 3 pages. We have here, then we have this page, and we have this page. So this person is not just coming up with a small little white book. They are coming out with a real book. They're coming out with a tarot deck that has a clear point of view. And that's what I look for in my tarot decks. See, he even says the Goliath Tarot deck is Shadow Tarot Manifesto. So he's not shying away from the shadow aspect. We got a table of contents. We have what is shadow work, which I appreciate. And he gives you a bit of a story, the integration of my shadow story. This is a little bit of fiction. I read it and it's a bit of a fiction thing. It's a whole story of him going to a forest and he's being called into this forest and it's dark at night and there is a figure in the distance, right? I'm not going to spoil it, but that's kind of how it goes. So it's not like, hey guys, I started going to therapy and I started looking at my shadow and I started looking at my subconscious. It's not like that. It's more of a fictional story, but still very deep and beautiful. So I highly recommend it. We have the introduction and creating the deck. So he also has like the, you know, an artist's intentions and his ideas for the cards and all that. We have understanding the cards. I love this one. If this be magic, let it be an art, lawful as eating. I like that a lot. You know, he separates them by suits, and he kind of explains to you what the suits are, keywords, elemental. We have some spreads too. And we have the meanings of the cards, the major arcana. And we go through the minor arcana, and then we have the back of the book, a portrait, and all that. So I love this deck. Now, I also love the presentation because we have a ribbon for the book, right? We can use this ribbon for the book, and it comes in 2 piles. And we actually have little individual ribbons for each pile too. Isn't that cute? So the deck is edged in black, which I love. And I believe that the first edition was edged in gold. Now, this is just me complaining. I'm really not complaining about anything because I love gold, I love black, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just nitpicking here. But I'm glad that these are in black and not in gold. There are a lot of decks, tarot and oracle, that are edged in gold. And personally, I'm getting a little bit sick of gold. First world problems, right? I mean, that's what we complain about. Oh my God, it's too much gold. I can't deal. So again, like I said, it's a silly thing to mention, but I just wanted to. The backs here, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's not a pure black. There's a hint of a purple to it, or a hint of brown to it. And they are reversible. Of course, we have this moth with horns and the infinity symbol. So I love that. Okay, I just noticed that they are backwards, so I'm going to start from this way. I'm going to have to flip them. Because I have been using this deck. This is kind of like a review unboxing. I have been using this deck. So, you know, it was out of order and I put them back in order. Just want to show you guys too that we have the satin ribbons, but also this is like velvety. So it's really nice. Honestly, the presentation is awesome. Okay, so let's go through. We have the Fool. Now, I actually find this to be incredibly brilliant. He gives you, oh, another thing too about what I loved about the second edition more than the first one is he would put the Fool almost like twice. There was like 3 different keywords to it. And I'm like, that's a lot. So he just has the number, the Fool, and then I love this. He calls it the Eternal Vagabond. So every card here, there is a nickname to it. And I actually find the nicknames to be so on point and dead on. Now, I will be showing you every card. There are also oracle cards in here, about 17, I believe. And I'll be showing you all of those as well. If you guys are planning on buying this deck and you don't want to see all the cards, you can skip ahead. You can skip this part altogether. Or if you want to, you can watch the whole thing. But I will be showing you everything. Because I know sometimes when I'm curious about a deck, I don't want to see the whole thing, so I don't watch it. Okay, so we have the Fool, which I love this little rat. And he's like smiling and jumping in. I don't know, I love it. We have the Magician, the Alchemical Master. The Crescent Moon Cat. So there's a lot of mysticism in these cards, but there's also a lot of shamanic energy. The Alchemical Mother. See, this one, it looks like an X-ray image. It's so cool and different and unique. The Ruling Father. The Master of Keys. This one's a little scary, isn't it? So as you can see, it definitely is a shadow deck. I don't think you're going to get a lot of like happy light readings with it. The Alchemical Heart. The Chariot of Osiris. The Doves of Equality. The Inner Master. How brilliant is this for a hermit? I love it. It's just so beautiful and brilliant, and like I just find this deck to be really, really smart. The Great Wheel. It's a smart deck. I find the artwork and the words that come with it to be really unique. The Lion and the Cobra. The Suspended Monkey. The Metamorphic Moth. The Pond of Balance. And I like how, oh, this one, a lot of people are scared of this one. The Master of Lies, the Devil. It does look scary, doesn't it? Like it's almost like lifelike in a way. The Burning Tree. The Cosmic Guide. I like how it's in black and white because it makes it easier, because I find that a color, the Silver Shadow Reflector, I find that colors in this deck would pull you away from what it's trying to accomplish. You know, for example, in the box here, we have this stag with this gold ring. And we're going to see this card in here too. But I'm really focused on the gold. And maybe I would interpret that as like, oh, maybe a bit of abundance because the gold is here. But you can see that the stag is crying. And they're releasing these butterflies. So the gold is not in the cards. The Beams of Life. The Sun. So I would find that it would take away the transcendence. It would take away from what the deck is trying to accomplish. So I find it to be, again, another really clever layer to this deck. The Sacred Circle. The Ace of Cups. The Intertwined Snakes. The Trinity Triangle. The Wandering Mind. Isn't that appropriate? The Wandering Mind for the Four of Cups. Of course it is. The Spilt Regret. Yeah, I'm actually honestly in love with this deck. Even the Reuniting Waterhole for the Six of Cups. How appropriate. Like even the keyword here, you know, that you can actually use this one as an oracle as well. If you're not familiar with tarot, ignore that it says the Six of Cups if you don't know what that really means. Just go for the Reuniting Waterhole. It's so appropriate. It's so appropriate and clever. The Tentacles of Illusion. Absolutely, that's Seven of Cups. Illusion, isn't it? Illusionary success. The High Door. The Eight of Cups. Going on a journey. Of ascension, actually. So 100% appropriate and true. The Contented Pelican. The Joyous Sky. I love this one. Now this one, he actually puts the kings and queens and knights and pages in that order. He doesn't start with the pages, so I kind of try to put them back in that order as well when I put this deck back together to show you guys. Because like I said, I have been using it. The King of Cups, the Chief Eagle. And look at that third eye. Look at that third eye open. I love it. The Mother of Crystals. The Brother of the Wild. The Sister of Roses. Ace of Pentacles, the Juggling Snake, the Three Wise Masters, the Prudent Mountain Goat. And you can see 4 pentacles under his hooves. Love that. Hardship Mountain for the 5 of Pentacles. Sacred White Scale Bull. I gotta say, guys, the paper quality and the cardstock is it's really good. It's not very bendy, which I appreciate. The Rewarded Frog. The Patient Weaver. The Tranquil Spotted Doe. The Oyster of Metatron. The Father of Roses. The Indian Henna Mother. The Aztec Hawk Warrior. I also love how the kings, queens, knights, and pages, they're not the same animal. The Butterfly Snow Vixen. We have tigers, we have hawks, we have foxes. You know, a lot of times in other decks, it's, let's say, foxes, right? They would be the queen, kings, knights, and pages of the wands. But he mixes and matches them, the animals, and I like that. Okay, so this one is an oracle. Oh wait, is it out of order? Okay, so this one is in order. This half is in order. So you guys saw one of the oracle cards. There is a yes and a no cards, and I'll talk about that when we get there. So we have the Ace of Wands. We have the Lightning Struck Antenna for the Two of Wands. How powerful is that? I love that. The Creative Bone Prism. The Beaming Vessel. The Jagged Union for the Five of Wands. I don't know if a lot of people love this image, but I really, really do. And I'll take a minute with it just to kind of show you guys what I love about it. But here we have these columns, which to me would be wands, right? Awesome. But it's called a Jagged Union. So the Five of Wands has to do with strife, competition. So it's people working together, but they're fighting with each other. So I see these stems as maybe roses or bushes or a tree that's beginning to sprout and grow. And they're all each of these columns, right? Each of these stems are trying to grow together, but they keep jabbing each other because they haven't quite found a good placement for them. But the more they grow, the more they learn. So the Five of Wands to me, in this image, just go together so well. It speaks to me. We have the Goliath Hive, Six of Wands. The Determined Otter for the Seven of Wands. Of course it is. The Meteor Shower. Darkness Before Dawn. The Overburdened Beetle. The Glowing White Stag for the King of Wands. We have the Cosmic Huntress. Her eyes and constellations in her eyes. This image is one of my favorites. We have the Kind-Hearted Moose. The Moonscaped Messenger for the Page of Wands. Ace of Swords. The Blind Seal. Now, if you guys haven't noticed yet, we have some borders are black, some borders are white. The Bleeding Raw Heart. Now, I don't think there is a rhyme or reason for it. It's not like one is black and next is white, because we see like one white here and then two black following it. So it's not like there is a system. I think it's just how it relates to the card image. So this one, for example, we have these swords that are just pure white, and the bunny is white as well. So the border is white. That's my interpretation. Well, this is called the sacred space for the Four of Swords. And then we go back to a black border, which is the Five of Swords, this white scorpion, and the black scorpion, versus the black scorpion, excuse me. The brand new journey. The thief in the night. The imprisoned bear. The overwhelmed sea turtle. Now, sometimes because this phrase is a little bit longer, it gets really small. I can read it, but also sometimes I wear glasses. So, so I can read it with my glasses. Maybe for those of you, with not so great vision, could be a little bit hard. But I still find it to be a good size where it's still legible. But that's me. I can't prove to you guys unless you, kind of get the deck and see it for yourself. The barren desert, the Ten of Swords. The Father of the Night. The Baroque Queen. The Hooded Brother. The sword-bearing sister. Now we're going to get into the oracle cards, which are these. They actually make quite a few, a big bulk of the deck. So there are actually quite a few. So Goliath, he says that you can keep these cards with the deck or just have them separate. I think that they are enough to, if you so choose to maybe use this as a separate oracle. I personally prefer having them all together. I like keeping my decks together, even if they come like that. So that's just my personal opinion. Plus, it just adds a layer of reading. If I'm doing the tarot and one of these cards come out, to me, it just adds a whole new layer to it. So I don't mind it, but you can keep it separate if you so choose, or toss them aside, or do whatever you want. But he says in the book that they are extra cards as his gift to us. Which I thought that was really kind and beautiful. So we have the Caution, the Heedful Mouse. We have the Ojibwe Catcher, the Shadow Dream Catcher. The Expansion, the Shedding Snake. The Sacred Heart, the Heart and Soul of Goliath. So he put his own name in here too. But I'm excited to see what the book says about that one too. The Karmic Release, the Sacred Karmic Deer. So we see how this is the cover. And there is no gold, like I said. But again, I like that. Because then the focus becomes not so much the chain here, even though it's beautiful, but it becomes the expression, the eyes, the cathartic moment of release. It becomes more about the action and the emotion it evokes versus the gold. Nature, the seed of life. The sacred fire, the rebirthing bonfire. The karmic soul tribe, the family. How awesome is this one? We have a baby whale, and then we have the mama whale, and just the eye, like looking at us. It's sometimes some of these cards are quite breathtaking to me. The hidden inner strength, the shadow cat. Masks, the hidden wolf. The shadow self, the dark inner swamp. Now this one, there's no name, no number, no nothing. He says it in the book that he left this card for us for scrying. For scrying, if you didn't quite hear me that well. So really what this card is Goliath wants you to meditate with it. He wants you to pull it and just kind of look at it. To me, it really reminds me of ink blots, or called Rorschach paintings. You can Google ink blots if you don't know what they are. It's just called ink blots. And psychologists used to use it a lot. Now I don't think it's that popular anymore. But really, this image is asking you, what do you see? What comes up for you? There is no right or wrong answer. It's very much like reading tarot cards, right? What does it come up for you? What do you feel? What do you see? It's just, that's what it is. Whatever you think of, whatever it reminds you of, right? And you can do it like upside down, reversed, if that's even reversed, and this way, upright. So this one is just, what do you see with it? So I like that. We have the shaman, the medicine healer, the starseed, the demiurge, the sage, the purity. And we have yes, and we have no. So these two, he also explains in the book. I personally, I haven't used it quite yet. These two cards, they haven't come up, and I keep them with the deck. I don't put them separately. I keep them with the deck, and they haven't come up in my readings yet. But if they do, I love them. But another thing that you can do also is you can actually maybe flip them, right? Or leave them face up, and you can take a pendulum. So you can take a pendulum and perhaps put it on top and see if it starts going yes. I'm moving the pentacle. So the pendulum. So it's not. I'm just making it up. But you can ask it if it's a yes and see the pendulum move, or you can ask it see if it's a no, right, and see if the pendulum moves. So you can also do that as well, or wait for it to come up in one of your readings. That's entirely up to you, but that's how he puts it in the book. So anyway, yeah, that's our unboxing and walkthrough of this deck. Now, I don't see myself using this deck for clients, at least not anytime soon. It is a deeply powerful deck. It really is. I got it honestly because I thought it was really beautiful, and I loved some of the images, and I do love the words here that he uses. The purity, the dark inner shadow, the shadow cat. Like, I love that. The eternal vagabond, right, for the fool. Here he is. I absolutely love that. So that's why I got it. But since I've been using it, it really is a very powerful deck. It's good for journaling. It's good for bringing up stuff that you've been meditating on, or if you haven't quite. It's almost like for things that you can't quite put your finger on, that you're feeling. And this deck will help kind of bring that to light and help. So like I said, it is, and even El Goliath, the creator, it's a shadow deck. So if you're not comfortable with that, that's totally cool. There is no wrong or right? We just kind of gravitate towards the decks that speak to us. And this one definitely spoke to me, and I hope it speaks to you too. So again, like, I don't see myself working for clients with this deck. I see actually working for me, for my personal readings, for myself. I do have a few decks that nobody touches. They're just mine. Which I think everyone needs that, right? Some of my collection is for clients. Some of my collection is just for me. Whenever I'm communicating with my spirit guides and angels. All right, guys. So I hope that this review served you in some way. I hope that it brought clarity to what this deck can do and how it speaks to us. All right, guys. Much love out there, and have a beautiful day.